Welcome to 2023. Big businesses now merge with alien nations. An ancient war is being fought under the sea. The president is about to be cloned. And it's your job to try and save the world. So you've got an important decision to make. What are you going to wear to work? From the team who brought you GoldenEye for N64, meet Special Agent Joanna Dark in Perfect Dark, where you'll find out that the only person man enough to handle a job like this is a woman. Perfect Dark, rated M from a...
5, 4, 3, let's go. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with the King. Now, this is a little bit of my anticipation for the show because everybody's leaking things and in DMs and talking and expressing about what they heard is going to be at the show and what's supposed to be. I hate this time of year. I really do. I really do, because you got people putting out videos talking about they have secret insiders and all this other stuff, and I don't care for it. You know, all I ever want is to have a good show. Microsoft to show their best wares, put their best foot forward, don't step on rakes. But one of the games that I was very interested in is Perfect Dark. And I'm going to show you the history of Perfect Dark. If you don't know what Perfect Dark is, what the game means to individuals that have been playing since Nintendo 64, it has a certain place in our hearts. And I can't lie, the 360 version was really adequate. So let's go back in time real quick and talk about those. Now, I don't know about you, but when I got my Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64, and it was made by Rare, I was like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And the reason why it was so incredible for us, see the lens, the light source, or because there's no lens for the light source in there. And, it was on the heels of 007, right? So, you had GoldenEye that came out, and that was legit. And then I don't know what went on with the license for the 007, the James Bond franchise, but I guess Rare and Nintendo felt that they can make 007 without using Bond. And that was pretty cool, right? Because the game was first person. Nintendo 64, the controller was made for first person shooters. It was a real cool game. And then, 360 and stuff happened. And this is just me going over what I expect, from Perfect Dark. What went wrong? What actually happened? Because this is moving, and I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. It looks and it feels like 60 frames per second, right? Looks really good. The Nintendo 64 was a beast. It was a beast of a machine. It gave everything. Like the polygons was solid. You see the transparencies there. You had the facial mapping. We look at that. Look at his face. This was the pinnacle of the Nintendo 64, to be honest with you. Now, the 360 getting Perfect Dark and having the ability to run it at 4K 60 frames per second that is a milestone within itself, because that's exactly what we was looking for. So that's when 360 had Xbox Arcade, and we were introduced to, well, the Xbox fan base was introduced. 4J Studios did the remaster of the game. So, the Xbox fan got a chance to play it and realize how good the game was. You can tell by the transparencies, it's a whole lot better. And the texturing was a whole lot better, way more than the average, I would say, right? So when you got down to the nitty gritty of it, like, you can see the textures on the roof, you can see the textures on the buildings. So the car drive by, the colors seem to pop a little bit more. And what I did notice about the textures look cleaner. Now, this is something that you would expect when it comes to a next gen. Well, for that period of time, the 360 was a next gen console running an older gen game, and this is par for the course. And I want to know, where did it go wrong for Perfect Dark? Because our expectations now that we have for Perfect Dark is through the roof. It's completely, how can I say, like, maybe it's getting the savior complex. I hate the savior complex, because the savior complex doesn't allow a game to live off its own merits. Now, you can see what is most notable here, and what I always noted about Perfect Dark, was the light sourcing. The 360 is capable of producing way more light sourcing than the Nintendo 64. You see how fast they're moving. Hitboxes is good. The game is running flawlessly on the 360 platform. So the expectations of a next Perfect Dark was crazy. Now, Perfect Dark Zero, my 360 was humming and singing. I mean, I touted Microsoft getting Rare as the greatest move, because we knew for a long time that Rare propped Nintendo up. And I guess along the time, Nintendo was, when Microsoft was trying to purchase Nintendo, and okay, that didn't happen. That wasn't a thing. So what's the next best thing? Go poach talent. And they went and they purchased Rare. I didn't even think that Rare would be available to get purchased, but they did. And then, the 360 comes out, and it comes out with Perfect Dark Zero. Perfect Dark Zero, to me, took the formula of Perfect Dark and decided to take it to the next level. Now, it was a dramatic change when they changed the main character. Her aesthetics was very, very different from what we saw on the Nintendo 64. Joanna Dark had hair that was flowing. And she was always looked at as the James Bond, female James Bond. And that was how they marketed the game. So to see the dramatic change when it came to her aesthetics, it was a drastic change, and it was something I thought that paid off. As you can see here, her climbing up the facials was different. You see the texture is a lot better. It's they took the formula from the first game and they expounded on it dramatically. The polygons don't look rudimentary. These polygons look really good. And now going into her head, you see now you got the hands. And I remember starting out just like this, and the tutorial looked good. The guns look good. The 360. I don't know. It's something about that magical era of 360 that is incredible to me. They just captured everything just right. They had the CPU at the time, the GPU at the time, everything was spot on. Microsoft hit on all cylinders, and this was one of the games that catapulted it to where it needed to go. Now, fast forward to all of this, and the initiative has the perfect dark to work with. So no longer is it in the hands of Rare. It's not being done remake or remaster. This is a wholly done from the ground up game. And the initiative is supposed to churn out quadruple A games. All the turmoil that was going on with the initiative, we felt that this game was under the biggest scrutiny. Is this a franchise that Microsoft is going to destroy or bring back stronger than ever? Is this a franchise that is going to gain momentum and push gameplay forward? Or is it something that should have been forgotten in the past? When I saw this trailer at the Game Awards, and I didn't know that it was Perfect Dark, but the textures, the world, the stuff that is going on, it reminded me that, yeah, we're missing espionage games. We're missing taking down big corporations, sneaking through places, getting data cards. We missed that. And if that's any hope, then Perfect Dark is that hope to bring that back. To bring back the thought of espionage. We don't have a Metal Gear Solid. We don't have a James Bond game. We have Joanna Dark. And I think this is going to be something special. Now, after watching the trailer at the Game Awards, I immediately started to panic. I honestly believe, because I'm like, can this game live up to what we're going to put on it? Is it going to be able to live up to the survivor, the savior complex? Is it supposed to, is the Messiah complex that they put on it that has to absolve Microsoft of all its sins? The bigger problem is the initiative has yet to put out a game. And if this is that game, the studio that was touted as the quadruple A studio, all of this stuff and all the stuff that was going on at the initiative, and now Crystal D is there and everybody. All I want is this franchise that I love produce a good game. Not just a good game, a great game. A game that's going into stealth. A game at its core that is James Bondish in feel. Because that's who Joanna Dark is. To us, she was the female James Bond. She was James Bond replacement when Nintendo didn't want to pay fees. She stepped in, took the reins of GoldenEye, and produced Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark. What happens next? Do we get a Perfect Dark sequel? The one that we need? The one that Microsoft can tote around and show? This is what the console market is clamoring for. This is what we're about. How long do we have left until it's shown? I believe that it's going to be shown at this year's Microsoft Showcase. I believe that the game is going to be a visual showcase of what the initiative is about. My problem is, can they do the storytelling? Can they get the gadgets right? Can they build to a crescendo like all Mission Impossible, James Bond espionage films do? Can Perfect Dark do it? That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I hope they show. I believe they're going to show a tremendous spectacle of a trailer. Does it launch early next year? Is it going to have a date? I don't believe it'll have a date, but I do believe that they'll show it. This is one to look at. This is one of the games that I'm looking forward to. This is one of my games that I'm eagerly anticipating. Well, this is the part in the video when I'm going to tell you to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'm going to take that logo and I'm going to throw it around Perfect Dark. And I'm going to say, please come out before the end of next year. And I'm going to say, try to play the Game Pass.